I look forward to your company next time, right here on The Chase.
Tonight, a woman hit and left for dead at Penrith and a teenager killed at Greenacre in a horror start to the long weekend. Firebombers wipe out a store at Mount Pritchard, the third time it's been torched. More tears and more lies as the accused mushroom killer breaks down again. War erupts at the White House and it's nuclear. Elon Musk and Donald Trump at each other's throats. A boom at Bankstown, a new metro, TAFE and hospital. And only a disaster can stop the Soccceroos from making the World Cup now.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Hugh Whitfeld.
Good evening. 3 people are dead and 2 teenagers on life support in a shocking start to the long weekend road toll. It began when a ute mowed down a pedestrian in a hit and run at Penrith. Then a carload of children slammed into a truck with devastating consequences.
In this mess of metal at Greenacre last night, the life of a 16-year-old boy ended. His family's changed forever. Police say the victim's 19-year-old sister was driving this hatchback seen here speeding along the Hume Highway moments before a truck turned across their path. 2 15-year-old boys in the back seat were also injured, one critically when he was ejected.
Alhamdulillah, all right.
Everyone inside this wreck was from the one extended family.
Absolute tragedy. We had a number of people trapped in the wreckage. It took about 50 minutes to get all of those people out.
The truckie wasn't hurt. He was taken for mandatory tests as crash investigators work to confirm who was at fault.
Speed's definitely a factor that we are investigating. The use of restraints may have been in question.
More grief and anger too in Penrith when a woman was mowed down crossing Macquarie Avenue. The orange ute that hit her didn't stop.
It's pretty heart-wrenching that someone would leave the scene after such an awful incident.
I would hope that they would hand themselves in.
Police also don't yet know who the victim is.
She's not an Australian citizen, so if she's a work colleague, a friend that hasn't arrived at work today or you can't contact, you may be able to assist us.
Police fear these deaths could be just the beginning of a horror few days on our roads this long weekend, again pleading with drivers to take extra care and their passengers to hold them to account.
I think it's every parent's worst nightmare that, one of your children, let alone 2 of them, are involved in a collision that takes a life.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
Arsonists are on the run tonight after driving a car into a Western Sydney family business and then setting it alight. It's the 3rd time the grocery store is being torched and targeted, and police don't know why.
A violent message delivered in fire. 2 men seen here after they rammed a car into this Mount Pritchard supermarket. They set it on fire, they run, and it blows up. Neighbours jolted awake by the sight and sound of this.
What the Out of nowhere, we just hear a loud explosion. I look out and I see this blowing up and the sparks going everywhere.
It took about 45 minutes to cut this fire off and contain it. The shop has been severely damaged. About 10 residents above were evacuated as a precaution.
This has happened not once, not twice, but 3 times in the past 6 weeks.
My family were really scared, It's getting out of hand.
1 man was arrested over the first attack on Anzac Day, but the violence didn't stop. A month later, arsonists slammed a ute into the store. Then this morning at 2 a.m, the family business was hit again. The 3rd strike and still no answers, with the owners maintaining they don't know who's behind the attacks or what they want. The matches and jerry cans left behind now clues to tracking down those responsible for the calculated attack. Amy Clements, 7 News.
In a boom for southwestern Sydney, a $2 billion state-of-the-art public hospital is to be built at Bankstown. $100 million will also be spent on creating a new TAFE campus. Coupled with the soon-to-open metro, the Premier says it means Bankstown is on the move.
In the centre of Bankstown, this will be the site of its brand new hospital. Some say not before time.
For too long, our community had to accept second best.
but not anymore.
Plans announced by the state government. The hospital's design a little sketchy, but close to public transport, the new metro.
Look, short answer here is that Bankstown's on the move.
A $2 billion hospital, $700 million more than originally planned.
We made a decision as a government that we want to do Bankstown once, and we want to do it properly.
With Bankstown's current hospital under pressure, the new one will have bigger operating theatres, ED, maternity.
This is where the acute services will be delivered.
Being bulldozed, the Bankstown TAFE campus, courses shifted to the nearby Western Sydney University.
We're delivering every course that we currently deliver on this site in our new facilities.
TAFE students will remain here for now. Work begins with demolition next March. By 2032, Bankstown will have a new public hospital.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye. Passed last night a ban on privatising key public hospital services, Joe's Law, after toddler Joe Massa.
The moment that Joe's Law came into effect was monumental for us.
The government's still negotiating to take over the private Northern Beaches Hospital. Chris Marr, 7 News.
Karen Webb has just wrapped up her last day as Commissioner of the New South Wales Police Force. Webb doesn't officially retire until September 30, but she's handing over the reins now to her deputy, Peter Thurtell. He'll be acting Commissioner until a new permanent top cop is found. In the meantime, Webb will work for the government in rolling out a program tackling domestic violence. It was the bromance between two of the world's most powerful men many suspected was always doomed to fail, but few would have predicted just how spectacularly it has. Donald Trump and Elon Musk falling out and now locked in an escalating war of words.
Elon Musk leaving the White House last week on good terms, handed a golden key by Donald Trump.
Thank you, Elon.
Tonight, the US president will be changing the locks.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore.
The split over Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill, a tax and spending package Musk hates for drastically increasing America's debt.
He hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
He was right. The war playing out on social media. Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Such ingratitude. Trump's response? Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his electric vehicle mandate and he just went crazy. Such an obvious lie. So sad. The sparring turned to threats. The easiest way to save money in our budget is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. Threats into accusations. Time to drop the really big bomb, Elon posted. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Have a nice day, DJT. Musk offered no evidence and Donald Trump has previously denied any involvement in the sex offender's criminal behaviour.
People leave my administration. Some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome.
Tonight, Elon Musk backing calls for Donald Trump to be impeached and Vice President JD Vance to replace him, warning the tariffs policy will cause a recession in the United States. The once unlikely alliance ending in a way many predicted and some now fear. In the United States, Miley Hogan, 7 News.
Musk versus Trump. It has the world watching, so what could happen next? Here's Chief Reporter Chris Reason.
We wondered how it would end, and now we have an answer. A spectacular billionaires bust-up that's turned into a cage fight. The world's most powerful man versus the world's richest. Their bromance only began in July last year after the assassination attempt. Musk donated a staggering $450 million to Trump's campaign. The payback? A temp job in charge of government efficiency. But Musk saw Trump's big, beautiful bill as inefficiency and debt at its worst. The spectacular fallout of the couple saw Tesla slumping overnight by $150 billion. Trump could go further and cut Musk's federal contracts or deliver another black eye with an investigation into his alleged drug use. Now, Musk could retaliate, withdrawing support for the US space program or his Starlink systems worldwide. He could also weaponise his wealth to fund anti-Trump candidates. He's talking already of launching a third political party in the US.
Flames have engulfed a Jeep, causing a fire emergency on Mona Vale Road at Terry Hills. Southbound lanes were closed while firefighters worked to put out the blaze. No injuries were reported. The cause now under investigation. Police have given up hope of finding missing Queensland teenager Phoebe Bishop alive in a devastating outcome for her family. Homicide detectives have charged the 17-year-old's housemates with murder.
We just want her home, and yeah, she was loved. She's missed dearly.
James Wood and his girlfriend Tanika Bromley are accused of killing the 17-year-old who vanished in Bundaberg 3 weeks ago. The Prime Minister could be about to put beef on the table in crunch trade negotiations with Donald Trump, but farmers fear loosening restrictions on US imports would put our biosecurity at risk.
Many of these cattle on Glenn Chapman's New England farm are destined for American dinner tables.
We send a lot of beef to the US already in ground beef and into their burger industries.
He doesn't mind American beef coming here if it passes biosecurity tests and doesn't bring in diseases like mad cow and foot in mouth.
Once they get into Australia, then that actually affects all of our export markets to other areas.
The greatest concern, cattle raised in Mexico and Canada and slaughtered in the US for export. America wants import bans on them lifted as part of discussions on possible exemptions from President Trump's tariffs.
I think it's important that the federal government looks Australian farmers in the eyes and say to them that they won't be collateral in trying to cut a deal with President Trump.
The Prime Minister says he can do that.
We'll never loosen any rules regarding our biosecurity.
But when they meet in about 10 days' time with the G7, Anthony Albanese will tell Donald Trump his country's beef can be sold here as long as it does comply with those biosecurity rules. Glenn Chapman warns,
I'm not sure how you can bargain with Trump.
President Trump is obviously an interesting character.
With a reputation for turning international guests into mincemeat. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The operator of a jumping castle that was blown away by a dust devil killing 6 children in Tasmania has been found not guilty. Prosecutors argued the inflatable wasn't properly anchored down in the 2021 tragedy, but a judge disagreed, leaving victims' families in disbelief.
When a system fails to deliver accountability for the deaths and injuries of children, it doesn't just fail our families. It fails justice itself.
Rosemary Gamble, the acquitted jumping castle owner, says the loss of life will stay with her forever. Accused killer cook Erin Patterson broke down again as more of her lies were picked apart. The question the prosecution wanted answered today: why didn't she come clean when she knew deadly mushrooms were in the dish she served her in-laws?
Erin Patterson admits she lied about foraging for wild mushrooms. Today, she was grilled about why she continued to lie even after her in-laws fell seriously ill. Surely if you had loved them, you would have immediately notified the medical authorities that there was a possibility that the foraged mushrooms had ended up in the meal. Nanette Rogers put it to the accused triple murderer that she hadn't told a single person that the mushrooms may have been wild ones and instead got rid of her dehydrator. Ms. Patterson replied, correct. Today, she refuted evidence previously given by other witnesses in her case, including her estranged husband Simon, her sister-in-law Tanya, and child protection worker Katrina Cripps. The mushroom cook also quizzed on Facebook messages she'd sent her online friends, complaining about her in-laws and their son. In one, she wrote, "This family, I swear to f***ing God," and another, him. But when Dr. Rogers put to Ms. Patterson, "This expressed your true feelings about Don and Gail," Ms. Patterson replied, "I was venting and I was frustrated, but I regret writing that." The prosecution also brought up evidence previously heard by the jury about how a computer seized from Ms Patterson's home had accessed the citizen scientist website iNaturalist, on which posts about the locations of death cap mushrooms had been made. Today's cross-examination was tense at times, with Ms Patterson asking the prosecutor to be more precise or to repeat her question. At another point, the accused killer broke down in the dock when she was asked to explain why she invited her mother-in-law's sister to the lunch. The mushroom cook will be back in the stand on Tuesday as this marathon trial enters its 7th week. Estelle Greepink, 7 News.
He's one of Australia's most decorated athletes and could now also be the victim of a major theft. Ian Thorpe was reportedly seen at Paddington Police Station on Thursday to report he's been robbed of $150,000 worth of valuables. His manager confirming personal items, including watches and jewellery, were stolen from his home. Police have now launched an investigation. You almost couldn't script it. A goal in the dying seconds to beat Japan and all but book Australia's place in the Football World Cup. Matt Carmichael's here. And Matt, the Soccceroos have almost certainly qualified now.
Don't say they've qualified or Tony Popovich will find you here, that's for sure. Good evening. There's one game to go in Saudi Arabia and they just need to avoid a 5-0 defeat or worse. That's unlikely in the extreme. Last night's 1-0 victory over the Asian football superpower of Japan put Popovich and his team well en route to the USA, Mexico and Canada next year. No partying like it's 2005. Back to training today for the Soccceroos. Job almost done. Off to Saudi Arabia to finish it off.
So we haven't achieved anything yet and our eyes are on the prize of obviously qualifying for the World Cup.
Japan hadn't lost a game since last February. A minute to go in Perth last night.
Well, that's a lovely turn by Riley McGree. The cut back, they're queuing up here. It's Bayes! Unbelievable! They've done it! In the very last minute of the game!
I actually didn't see the ball actually hit the net. I just kind of saw the crowd erupt and players start running everywhere.
It's special, it's hard to explain because when you're in that moment and where I was situated, I was right behind it, so you could just see it bending in.
Aziz Bajic joins a very special club. Jimmy Mackay, John Aloisi, Josh Kennedy, Mile Jedinak, the Grey Wiggle.
And Redmayne makes the save!
But don't dare say we've qualified.
OK, all but you can't say it yet, OK?
There's a whole Australian generation now who think going to the World Cup's normal. The rest of us have long, scarred memories. The task now, don't lose 5-0 or worse in Jeddah on Wednesday morning to a Saudi team that's only scored 6 goals in 9 games.
We were in a great position, but we have to finish it off.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Time to check the weather now with Amber Laidler. Amber, cool and cloudy to end the working week.
Yes, Hugh, good evening. Those clear skies did make more of an appearance away from the coast. That was pretty frosty to start in parts. This is how the day played out at Scenic World. It dipped to just 3 degrees this morning at Katoomba, but it was even colder across Sydney's southwest this morning. It reached freezing at Badger East Creek and at Camden. The feels-like temperature there, though, closer to -3. It is set to get even chillier from here. A complex low-pressure system is driving a large pool of polar air over southeastern capitals through the weekend, and it's going to hold it there as well. It will bring an icy blast across the country southeast over the long weekend. Very blustery conditions expected too. Your latest local forecast is coming up soon, Hugh.
See you soon. Thanks, Amber. Next, expert advice for Sydney families and how thousands of lives have already been saved. The Tallawong kitchen, police say, is at the centre of a global drug ring. Incredible access, a chilling journey inside the police search for Madeleine McCann. Do you know these men? What the Sydney train suspects are accused of at 6:30. And next, harbour history reborn. New life for Sydney's first skyscraper.
It's either the ultimate deterrent or an abuse of human rights.
The world's toughest prison
Inside Trump's plan to solve America's gang problem.
They're very active around here.
El Salvador's brutal regime teams up with the White House.
Do not come to our country illegally.
That's it. No pity.
No mercy for them.
But has the president gone too far?
They are committed to cruelty and brutality.
7 News Spotlight, Sunday.
Honda End of Financial Year event is now on. Get a finance offer from 3.99% per annum comparison rate across the entire range. Applies to a 36-month term with minimum 10% deposit required. Hurry, ends June 30.
The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance is on now, with everything reduced across the entire Nick Scali range. Everything is reduced during the half-yearly clearance. On now at Nick Scali.
When you unwrap an Uncle Toby's muesli bar, you're unwrapping a slice of pure... with its explosion of Aussie oats and delicious choc chips. Unwrap the yeah.
At HCF, Extras members get 100% back on annual checkups at over 11,000 dentists in our network.
That's something to smile about.
You're so childish, Carey. So immature.
Go Harvey Norman half-yearly clearance. Save $600 on LG 65-inch OLED TV. Save $400 on Dyson V11 Advanced Stick Vac. Save $100 on best-selling LG fridge, now $888. Best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman now.
The Plush End of Financial Year sale is on now, with up to 50% off a huge range of leather and fabric sofas, recliners and modulars. Save up to 50% off at the Plush End of Financial Year sale. On now.
Think sofas, think Plush.
You can see lots of stars in Cobden, Western Victoria, the home of Western Star, where for over 95 years we've created not just butter, but a star. Western Star. More than butter.
In breaking news, human remains thought to be those of missing teen Phoebe Bishop have been found. The body was discovered a short time ago in a national park near Bundaberg, where police have been searching for the 17-year-old for weeks. Her 2 flatmates have been charged with murder. Police have smashed an international drug ring operating out of a home in Sydney's northwest. Officers found a lab set up inside a Tallawong house and seized 2 kilograms of the drug MDMA, along with equipment to make it. Police say the operation has links to gangs in Asia. 3 men have been arrested and are facing a range of charges. Health experts are sounding the alarm with a spike in cold and flu cases sweeping the country. But 7 News can exclusively reveal tens of thousands of babies have been protected after their mums received a free vaccine.
Bree O'Brien's 1-year-old daughter Sunny caught respiratory syncytial virus 5 months ago.
She was just generally unwell, runny nose, a bit lethargic, nothing too concerning.
But things quickly turned. She was rushed to intensive care.
Her being hooked up to all these machines, wires, tubes, was really terrifying as a parent.
RSV is the leading cause of hospitalisation of babies. This year, the federal government announced a free vaccination program for pregnant mums to protect their newborns. Since February, 65,000 women have received the jab, resulting in a 40% drop in RSV cases for young children from 46,000 this time last year to 28,000.
We know this is a very serious threat. I want to see these rates continue to come down.
As the country faces a difficult flu season. So far, there have been 250,000 recorded cases of the big 3 respiratory infections, most of them in New South Wales, 53,000 in Queensland, followed by Victoria, South Australia and WA. Experts say it's the tip of the iceberg.
It's very important to start taking steps now to protect yourself.
Despite the warnings, vaccination rates remain low. With the cold weather settling in, experts say the coming weeks will be critical.
It's not always going to stop you getting flu completely, but it definitely makes flu less scary.
Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
The renewed search for Madeleine McCann has ended. Tonight, we can take you inside the search zone where investigators were pinning their hopes on finding DNA evidence. They leave Portugal without a breakthrough and time fast running out to stop their number one suspect from walking free.
They'd hoped the answers to an 18-year-old mystery were hidden somewhere inside these walls. Derelict buildings picked apart by more than 60 investigators over 3 days. Today, the renewed search for Madeleine McCann was called off early. This is the first look inside the search zone. Much of the focus was here, an excavator churning up the soil at a site frequented by the prime suspect. Christian Bruckner was known to camp on the coastal scrubland during the time the British toddler vanished from her family holiday apartment. German authorities believe the convicted sex offender is the culprit due to claims by key witnesses and circumstantial evidence. This search considered a last-ditch effort to prove it with DNA before Bruckner is released from prison as early as September and disappears. Throughout these ruins are the signs of a meticulous search, down to markings on the floor of the ground-penetrating radar that's been scanning deep into the Portuguese soil to no avail. Portuguese police say no items of significance were found, only animal bones and adult clothing. But this search is led by German prosecutors who've yet to say if soil samples will be taken away for testing. Hope for a major breakthrough in ruins. In Portugal, Jacqueline Robson, 7 News.
It boasts some of the best views of our harbour, and today a new look 33 Alfred Street in the CBD was unveiled. The building opened in 1962 as Sydney's first skyscraper, closing down 5 years ago for a revamp.
All these heritage features have been retained in the building, so we have some original marble behind us. It has been brought back in a way that honours the history.
New tenants include law firms and financial companies. More of your top local stories to come this hour as we reveal Sydney Trains most wanted, from Lidcombe to Mount Druitt. Surprise comments from the sister of an Australian man banged up in Bali. Gone in a second the moment a truck's roof disintegrates. Hollywood style for Sydney, the famous hotels headed our way. Dynamic duo Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds to buy an Aussie sports team. A very happy birthday for Australia's oldest woman.
And ahead in sport, a wild night in Newcastle ends with the coach's apology to booing fans.
Truly unmissable. Farmer Wants a Wife. Monday, 7:30.
When you spend only 0.02% of your time doing bank things, you can spend 17.5% of your time with your best friend. 5.6% taking your stress out on strangers. 10% on the arts. 38% dwelling on that terrible thing you said to your coworker at the party, and 20% baking for your colleagues at work, especially Brenda.
When the lucky country isn't so lucky, it's lucky you're with Amy.
Lucky you're with Amy.
The Nick Scully half-yearly clearance is on now, with everything reduced across the entire Nick Scully range. Everything is reduced during the half-yearly clearance. On now at Nick Scully.
Crispy on the outside, boneless on the inside, porky in between. 100% Australian pork leg, now only $7.99 a kilo. Aldi, good different.
Long weekend? Let's get you sorted at Repco. Save big with 25% off engine oils, Maxi-Track, Repco Automotive Specialty Tours, NGK and NTK plus more. Deals end Monday. Repco. Get you going.
Vodafone's doubled its network coverage. To celebrate, get double data. That's a massive 100 gigs for just $39. Don't miss out. Offer ends soon. Make your move to Vodafone.
If you use comprehensive car insurance, I feel safe because I'm covered for what life might throw at me. Or drop on me.
Car insurance that's a bit more U-shaped. UE, you insured.
The Plush end of financial year sale is on now, with up to 50% off a huge range of leather and fabric sofas, recliners and modulars. Save up to 50% off at the Plush end of financial year sale. On now.
Think so first, think Plush.
These days,
Every dollar counts. If you're looking to get more from your super, Australia's largest fund keeps your admin fees low to maximise your super. Join today. It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours.
A mother and son will spend more than 2 decades behind bars after the revenge killing of a Nowra teenager. Taj Hart was deliberately run down on the side of a road in a murder the judge called cowardly and cold-blooded.
For 3 years and 100 days, Taj Hart's family have waited for justice.
We're so, I don't know, relieved.
But no sentence will ever be enough to repair the hole left by a mother and son who ran down the teenager in Nowra in 2022.
Taj was a beautiful boy. I hope they rot in hell.
Jaden Wamsley Hume was driving a white ute with his mother Katie in the front seat when he veered 7 metres off Old Southern Road to deliberately hit Taj. There had been growing tensions between the boys for years, with Justice Wright saying the mother and son were on the lookout to exact the revenge they wanted. Jaden Wamsley Hume was sentenced to 23 years and 6 months, eligible for parole in 2038, while his mother Katie was sentenced to 21 years and 6 months. She's up for parole a year earlier than her son.
He's loyal, a really loyal mate, and he had a laugh that you just laugh with.
Justice served for this grieving family who forever will have Taj's smiling face printed on shirts and in their hearts. Bill Hogan, 7 News.
The sister of an Australian man accused of drug smuggling in Bali has spoken out. Lamar Archie allegedly collected 2 parcels packed with 1.8 kilograms of cocaine. His sister says he's being treated well since his arrest.
We are grateful for the fair and respectful treatment he has received from law enforcement.
The 43-year-old could face the death penalty if convicted. We're about to show you pictures of a group of people police want to speak to over a series of crimes on the transport network. The images captured by the thousands of cameras that are always watching and released today as part of Operation Waratah.
At the gates, on the platforms at Parramatta Station this afternoon, making their presence felt.
Police will not stand for violent crime on the public transport network.
After a series of assaults on transport workers.
We do not want to see acts of spitting, bashing our staff, causing all sorts of common assault.
In a new phase of Operation Waratah, police releasing images of people they want to speak to over incidents on trains and buses at locations across the city over the last 6 months. At Lidcombe Station, police say this man could assist over an assault in January and this man over a theft there in April. At Mount Druitt, investigators say this man could help them after a staffer was spat on last month and this man after a worker had a bag stolen there in April. Using information about past assaults, police say they'll be targeting known trouble spots to try and prevent any further violence. It's the 4th Operation Waratah. Since the first last year, there have been more than 650 arrests, more than 1,000 charges, with 80 knives seized, aided by a security system that's always watching.
We have 13,000 cameras looking over and protecting you. Every bus has plenty of cameras in it as well.
Paul Kadak, 7 News.
Former AFL footballer Wayne Carey is in trouble again, caught on camera in a confrontation outside a Melbourne pub. The 54-year-old was involved in a heated exchange with 2 other men, their argument spilling out onto the street last night. In a statement, Carey says he has previous dealings with the man in the vision, calling him a serial harasser. A truck has been shredded after slamming into a beam which protects a rail bridge in Brisbane South. The roof of the container was torn off and the sides splintered. The beam is designed to prevent impact with low rail bridges and, in this case, did its job. Hollywood A-listers and best mates Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have teamed up for their next venture. This time it's on the water. They're now co-owners of Australia's Sail GP team in a multi-million-dollar deal.
He can dance, act and sing. Tell me, do you wanna go? Triple threat Hugh Jackman now putting a 4th sheet to the wind.
Disaster for Australia, the wing's fallen down.
teaming up with Hollywood mate Ryan Reynolds to buy the Australian Sail GP team.
Well, I hear Hugh's a pretty good sailor, so yeah, we've got to get him out there.
The A-lister's becoming the boss of Australia's greatest sailor, Tom Slingsby, driver of the Bonds Flying Ruse.
We've secured our future in this league, and now we can just concentrate on results.
It's a stake worth tens of millions in the 12-boat international racing series, Formula One on water.
It's an absolute fairy tale. Two out-and-out superstars of stage and screen backing our little Aussie battler from Gosford Sailing Club.
The 50-foot catamarans reach speeds of 100 kilometres per hour. Reynolds invested in the once struggling Wrexham Football Club, helping them earn promotion 3 years running. It's Jackman's sporting debut. Unlike at Wrexham, Reynolds and Jackman are buying the Flying Ruse at the top of their game. They've won 3 of the last 4 seasons and are leading the current season. The underdog ship has sailed.
Deadpool and Wolverine have become Flying Ruse in Bond's underpants. How good?
Tom Saker, 7 News.
Flying fists stop traffic. The fight is shocking, but wait until you see what set it off after the break. So David Beckham and Lady Posh, yes really, when it's set to happen. On board with the Snow Patrol as ski season begins.
And in sport, that Nathan Cleary to rugby talk, Ivan doesn't really deny it.
Well, your party plans may be up in the air, but at least your insurance is sorted.
It's good you're with Budget Direct.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
The all-new Skoda Kodiaq. Big on the little things. Skoda.
No one likes to wait around. That's why at Origin, we're simplifying customer service, from making it easy to manage your account to an app that puts you in control. That's all kinds of useful.
The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance is on now, with everything reduced across the entire Nick Scali range. Everything is reduced during the half-yearly clearance. On now at Nick Scali.
What does it take to be a master? Determination, craftsmanship, creativity, obsession. Why? For the love of chocolate. Excellence by the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk may be on the rocks, but the president's repairing relations with another very powerful person. He had a rare call with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Apparently, it lasted for more than an hour and focused almost entirely on trade. It always takes second place to gold, but silver's a winner for the moment. It just hit a 13-year high. And the number of filled jobs has dropped slightly. That's the first time that's happened since the 2021 Delta COVID lockdowns. Less people are working 2 jobs. It was a pretty flat Friday on the ASX. The US-China talks boosted iron ore and energy stocks, but did cause critical minerals to retreat. Our dollar is hovering around 65 US cents. The market is closed on Monday as most states mark the King's birthday.
The driver of a ute bit off more than he could chew in a wild road rage showdown in Port Melbourne. The man is accused of deliberately running down a scooter rider, a decision that backfired badly. The rider got back on his feet and let punches fly. No charges have been laid. A cold snap is bringing a fresh dumping of snow for the first weekend of the ski season. It has police urging everyone to take care and remain snow safe if they're heading to the snowy mountains. More officers are being deployed to the slopes and they're ready for anything with snow skis and shoes. Arise, Sir David. England's footballing hero David Beckham will be knighted by King Charles, with the official announcement to be made next week. Posh Spice will be Lady Victoria, ending Beckham's decade-long pursuit of a title.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal.
25 years after one of England's greatest goals was dubbed with this demand.
Give that man a knighthood.
King Charles will finally dub one of the nation's favourite sons, Sir David Beckham.
Yes!
The British tabloids reporting the 50-year-old footballing legend's name will be on the King's birthday honours list when it's revealed next week. His wife, Posh, to be known as Lady Victoria Beckham. King Charles has a long history with the couple. Today, Beckham is an ambassador of the King's Foundation, with some believing this candid moment between the pair at last month's Chelsea Flower Show could have been the first time they'd met after he learned his long wait for a knighthood was over. Now the star of his own streaming show, recently reminiscing with Hollywood royalty about his time in LA.
It was so fun. LeBron was there, he flew in, everybody came.
You knew you'd arrived in LA?
I knew I'd arrived in LA. I turned round to Dave, my best friend since we were 14 years old. He looked at me and went, "You've changed."
The only thing that hasn't, his ability to remain in the limelight. In London, Ben Downing, 7 News.
A touch of Hollywood down under, still to come. The famous hotel hitting Australia, an exclusive first look, lifestyle retreats with luxury accommodation. And bubbles of fun inside Sydney's new sensory overload. Don't miss those stories soon on 7 News. But first, Matt's here with Sport. And Matt, what happened to Manly last night?
I think we all know some very confused and frustrated Manly fans, don't we, Hugh? Good evening. It was a crazy night in Newcastle. All the fallout and Adam O'Brien's apology to Knights fans next. Also, the Dogs of War tried tug-of-war with the Supercars leader. But the big question is Galvin playing on Monday? And the ultimate pacemaker, Tyrese Halliburton's buzzer beater in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
At martalotteries.com.au. You could win and live happily ever after.
Planning even just a few dinners a week with HelloFresh can help in a lot of little ways. Less stress, more variety, no one getting prickly about dinner. No offence. Beautiful. HelloFresh, hello dinner.
Australians keep watch over their homes but ignore home insurance premium rises.
Hey, I have CCTV.
So while you know see, you can also compare and save.
It pays to compare.
Simple.
The Mazda End of Financial Year event is on now. Experience the Inline-6 Hybrid CX-60 Pure now from $53,990 drive away, or the 7-seat Hybrid CX-80 Pure from $59,990 drive away. Ends June 30.
Attention Aldi shoppers, it's a sale!
I think there's a sale.
It's not a sale. Our prices are just this low every day.
Yes, it's an everyday sale!
It's an everyday sale. No, just low prices every day at Aldi. Good different.
Go! I don't know why anyone comes here. It's just so quiet.
Quiet your mind mouth with extra gum. Chew you good.
When it comes to security, you can never have too much. Westpac. Layers and layers of scam and fraud defence.
Get what you really want with Ford's drive-away deals, like the Transit Custom Trend from $55K drive away. Only at your Ford dealer while stocks last.
The Domain half-yearly sale. Save up to 40% off indoor and outdoor furniture. Shop in-store and take a further 10% off a selected range. Plus up to 50% off cushions, lighting, wall art and more. Domain's half-yearly sale on now.
This Sport Report is brought to you by Sportsbet. Proud supporters of having a crack. Imagine what you could be buying instead.
Adam O'Brien has apologised for slamming booing Knights fans for knowing nothing about rugby league. The under-the-pump coach sprayed knowledgeable, loyal Newcastle supporters who seemed to spark their team's Golden Point comeback over Manly.
Down 16-0 at half-time, Knights fans turn on their own team.
The crowd is booing the Knights at McDonald Jones Stadium. Have a listen. This is not good.
Booing's a bit harsh. The people that boo don't know anything about rugby league. They're probably the ones that cheered at the end too. That disappoints me that they do that.
But booing by Newcastle's football-savvy crowd clearly rallied their team to beat Manly in Golden Point.
Ponga! Newcastle complete the miracle!
Today, Adam O'Brien said sorry.
I apologise unreservedly to our members and fans that I offended. They are an educated crowd.
More sinister, death threats on social media against Knights centre James Schiller.
It's going footy. He's got a family.
At club sponsor Young Academics, Bulldogs Blake Wilson and Bailey Howard urge kids to be open about feelings and emotions. Mum's the word about team selection. Still a mystery. Lachlan Galvin's Dogs debut on Monday against Parramatta.
I'm not too sure. He's just been getting reps in our system and playing everywhere, so whoever he ends up, that's the coach's decision.
Mal Meninga will be first coach of new club the Perth Bears from 2027. The Immortal stands down as Kangaroos coach before October's Ashes tour of England.
I'm really comfortable with the fact that I'm moving on. I'm really comfortable with the fact that there's another challenge in my life.
Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
Ivan Cleary didn't exactly put an end to rumours linking Nathan to a rugby union switch. The Panthers coach says his son and halfback is just focused on facing old mate Jerome Luai for the first time as a Tiger on Sunday.
That's a pretty open-minded kid, but that's down the track, maybe, who knows, but he's contracted here for another 2 years, so that's what he's doing. I don't think he's ever played, so you just have to avoid all the rucks, just kick and goal kick, I suppose, he'd go all right. Yeah.
The Sharks are expecting a pumped-up Aden Fanua-Blake to face the Warriors and James Fisher-Harris at Shark Park tomorrow.
Most players that leave a club want to play well against their former club, and I think he's excited for that, and who wouldn't be playing against your old club?
Sione Katoa plays his first game of the year after a pre-season shoulder reconstruction. In Melbourne tonight, Big Nelson Asifa Solomona was fuming after a Viliami Vailea chicken wing tackle. The Cowboys centre was put on report. Eli Katoa scored first for the Storm.
Strolls over. We see it time and time again.
Jerome Hughes crossed for a first-half double. Melbourne lead 18-4 at the break. With qualification virtually assured, Tony Popovich believes his Soccceroos can do something special at next year's World Cup. As we showed earlier, their first win over Japan in 16 years, all but booked their ticket to the USA, Mexico and Canada.
Football-wise, we need to get better and we will get better. But, in that moment, 90th minute, we had 6 players in the box. 6 players trying to score a goal.
Saudi Arabia beat Bahrain 2-0. They need to beat Australia 5-0 or more in Jeddah on Wednesday morning. With their season on the brink, Swans veteran Dane Rampey says the players are to blame, not rookie coach Dean Cox. Sydney have won 4 from 12, wallowing in 4th, and hope last week's Crows debacle was the nadir. The MCG against Richmond tomorrow is the perfect place to start fixing everything.
We're really feeling for Coxie. As players, we feel like we've let him down. I think now it's on us as players to kind of row the boat for him and show us, what he means to us.
Last night, Hawthorn ended a 3-game losing streak, beating the Western Bulldogs by 22 points. If you've wondered who'd win a tug-of-war between the Bulldogs and a Supercar, why? And you've got your answer. Matt Burton and Viliami Kikau were among a team that beat out Brock Feeney's Camaro and tore up the Campbelltown Stadium turf.
I was going to say let's go again, but...
Owe me a door. No, I'm kidding. I owe you a footy field.
In Perth, rookie driver Lockie Dalton almost rolled his car as Matt Payne topped practice today. Scotty Boland wants selectors to agonise over whether to name him or Josh Hazlewood for next week's World Test Championship final against South Africa at Lords. Boland starred against India during the summer in place of the injured Hazlewood.
I just want to make that decision as hard as possible. I'm sure we'll be doing the same thing here. Obviously, we all want to play, but there's probably not room for all of us.
And Seven has secured exclusive rights to America's Major League Cricket. It will be on 7+ from June 13. The comeback kings of the NBA, the Pacers, did it again in their final series opener against the Thunder today.
Halliburton driving, pulls off, jump shot. It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining.
Tyrese Halliburton's last-second match winner snatched a 15-point fourth-quarter fight back, 111-110. That guy's a freak. They've got an Aussie, Johnny Furphy, on the bench, so I'll say go Pacers, Hugh.
We'll keep an eye on him.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Matt. The world's hottest new hotel brand has finally checked in to Australia. The Mondrian, a go-to for Hollywood's A-list, opens its doors on the Gold Coast tomorrow, and the group already has Sydney in its sights.
From LA's Sunset Strip to Queensland's Glitter Strip, one of Hollywood's hottest hotels checking in down under.
It's very uniquely Australian. I think each Mondrian is very much the cultural connoisseur of its destination.
Mondrian Gold Coast opening its doors at Burleigh Heads, the first Mondrian in the Pacific. Steps from the sand, it boasts more than 200 rooms, a pool club, even a bio-wellness spa.
We actually just opened another great Mondrian in Ibiza. The Mondrian brand is one of our most well-known, incredible brands that came out of the US.
Famous for hosting celebrities and TV shows in Los Angeles, it's owned by Ennismore, also responsible for some of the world's most well-known resorts and restaurants. And its eyes are now set on bringing world-class hospitality here.
Australia is one of our most important markets.
In the last 2 decades, we've accelerated the growth of new hotel rooms. It does position us as a world-class international destination.
Sydney is also set to benefit from Ennismore's rapid expansion across Australia, with a 25 hours hotel to open on Oxford Street later this year.
We've got an incredible food sharing concept that we're bringing from London, and we think it'll be perfect for a location like Paddington.
Amber Laidler, 7 News.
It will be a sensory overload for Sydney-siders as one of the world's biggest immersive experiences takes over Paddington Pavilion at Sydney Olympic Park. Bubble Planet features 10 interactive rooms filled with optical illusions, virtual reality and giant bubbles. It's already been enjoyed by 2 million visitors globally. Tickets here are now on sale. Amber is back with the forecast now. And Amber, how is the long weekend shaping up?
We've got some clear skies and some very cool temperatures on the way, Hugh, along with blustery winds. I'll have your detailed outlook coming up next.
Tomorrow on Weekend Sunrise, Katy Perry's iconic backup dancer is live. That's tomorrow from 7 a.m.
You told us you want change. So when you shop at Woolworths, you'll now find lower shelf prices on hundreds of family essentials. Lower shelf prices. It's a fresh commitment to you from the fresh food people.
With Light and Easy, you're cooking less, eating better and getting great results.
With Light and Easy, I've lost 43 kilos. Troy's lost 53 kilos. It was great because you didn't have to do the work yourself. There was no meal prepping, no grocery shopping. You just grab and go.
Enjoy healthy and delicious award-winning meals delivered to your door. No shopping, no cooking, no stress.
Light and Easy is a great investment for health, happiness and a happy life. I feel absolutely amazing. I feel like a new person.
Live a healthier, better life with Light and Easy.
Aching joints here? Neck pain there? Introducing Perskindol Active Gel. The unique formula cools immediately and quickly heats as it is massaged into skin. Perskindol, stronger than your pain.
Don't miss the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale. Receive up to a $3,000 cash card on select models.
Oh, get out. You just told me to get in.
So get in today and get out on your next adventure.
Hey, Toddy! Todd!
Should have gone to Specsavers. Right now, get 50% off all lens options with any pair. Only at Specsavers. Limited time only.
What's that all about?
Go Harvey Norman half-yearly clearance. Up to 30% off Windows 11 computers. All the big brands. Save over $500 on Samsung Galaxy S24. Save $150 on premium Bose headphones. Now $328. Best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman now.
Mom and Dad and the twins getting ready for a scary movie. And Dad's not ready at all.
Buckle up, big guy. It does not get better from here.
M&M's. It's more fun together.
One more time. Step by step.
Place the container under it and unscrew the plug.
Oh, okay. How do I get motor oil off my face?
To get the motor oil off your face, you can simply use dish soap or another cleaner.
Skoda Kodiaq. Big on the little things.
Skoda. Meet comedy trio Sushi Mango.
I think we can expect the unexpected.
With over 1 billion views on their socials, get to know the men behind the characters.
This is fantastic.
And Colin's favourite comfort dish is packed full of winter flavours.
Look at that.
New Better Homes, next.
Tonight's edition of The Nightly is out now. Australia's only digital newspaper to drop nightly. Free to your device every weeknight. News as it is at thenightly.com.au.
Welcome back. Those very chilly temperatures are here to stay, with a polar air mass to push up over the country's southeast this weekend. It reached 17 at Observatory Hill early this afternoon. That's right on average for this time of year. Right now in the city it is 14. Only light winds about for now, but that's all about to change. We've got gusty northwesterly winds set to develop through tomorrow, with a series of cold fronts and a complex low pressure system starting to move across. That's also pushing up some very cold air from southern waters, particularly during Sunday. So that will generate snow showers we're expecting across the Alps just in time for the opening weekend at the ski resorts. We'll also bring some showers impacting some western and southern districts from tonight, but we aren't really expecting too much in terms of rainfall here in Sydney throughout the weekend at this stage. Canberra, Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide, all expecting showers tomorrow, though looking nice and sunny over in Perth. Cloud clearing, tops of 25 tomorrow in Brisbane. Across New South Wales tomorrow, isolated showers are possible across the state's south, tending widespread about the far southern ranges and also along the Victorian border, with some snow showers possible on the southern ranges above 1,000 metres. Otherwise looking dry and partly cloudy. These daytime temperatures generally hovering pretty close to average. If we take a closer look at Sydney now, it should remain dry, very windy at times though, particularly from around lunchtime onwards. Tops are hovering between 17 to 19 degrees in most parts, a gusty 11 forecast tomorrow out at Katoomba. On coastal waters tomorrow, northwesterlies will reach up to 20 knots early, turning westerly in the early afternoon before reaching up to 30 knots offshore. So we do have some strong wind warnings in place tomorrow. They stretch from the waters off Newcastle down to the waters off Bateman's Bay. Back in the city tomorrow, though, under those clear skies, 19 degrees is the forecast top. Sunday is looking cooler as the front starts passing over. We'll see tops dip a few degrees back to 16 degrees across Sydney. There's just the slight chance of a late coastal shower at this stage, but very gusty conditions are forecast Sunday through till Monday. Those northwesterlies are set to reach up to 40 kilometres an hour at times. It looks like these cool mornings aren't going anywhere. Plenty of single-digit minimums, but all in all, we'll take this sunshine, Hugh.
It's a pretty good-looking weekend. Thanks, Amber. Australia's oldest woman, Lorna Henstridge, has celebrated another lap around the sun with loved ones and cupcakes. The South Australian great-grandmother, who's now 111, says her secret to a long life is to always do something you enjoy.
Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
After the party, we're told Lorna enjoyed a well-deserved nap alongside her two puppies. And that's 7 News for this Friday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. From all the 7 News team, have a great night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want. Download now.
I'm in Lygon Street, right in the